Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Now on Fox 50, a motorcyclist is dead after a hit-and-run crash. The search for the driver responsible.
And this morning, we're tracking a strong cold front that's pretty much sitting right over the area right now. I'll show you when temperatures dip and when we see our coolest day in nearly 6 months.
And early voting begins in just 3 days. How Helene is impacting the voting process in our state as both presidential campaigns in this neck-and-neck race make stops near us this week. Thank you so much for joining us here on your Monday morning, October 14th. I'm Michelle McConaughey.
And I'm Renee Chu. It'd be a good week to visit North Carolina with the state fair coming up, especially Thursday and Friday. Meteorologist Chris Michaels with a preview of how that's going to feel.
Yeah, we made sure to order some nice weather just in time for that. Right now, 62. And looking overhead, the fairgrounds, yeah, you got the Ferris wheels up and things are looking pretty good. Just a little on the breezy side. You see the camera shaking around a little bit. That's because of our cold front that we're tracking, and it's moving through the area as we speak. Because of that, not expecting highs in the low 80s like we saw this past weekend. Instead, temperatures will rise by maybe a degree or two per hour, and your high temps will be mostly in the low to mid 70s. By this evening, temperatures will be in the upper 50s as soon as 9 p.m. And there's nowhere to go but down from there. We're looking at lows 42 to 47 first thing tomorrow morning. So some school districts maybe not heading in today, but at the bus stop tomorrow, plan on a jacket. Raleigh 46, Southern Pines 45, South Hill 43 first thing tomorrow morning. And in fact, it gets a little bit colder than that at some of these mornings this week. A look ahead at the week, and you're seeing temperatures upper 30s, lower 40s. Wednesday, I'm forecasting a high of 60 degrees. That could actually be our coldest afternoon since late March. We'll keep tabs on that, Ken.
All right, Chris, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. We just got this crash in Durham that we've been following now for the last hour or so. This is the Durham I-885 and those northbound lanes heading into the Bull City this morning. You can see the slowdown that it's causing right there. You're really just looking at a 3-minute delay into the Bull City this morning, so not too bad when you really think about it. Back here in Wake County, we're going to isolate the Beltline just a little bit. We're seeing the usual slowdown, that northern loop of the Beltline. This is what it looks like, courtesy of our live traffic cam this morning, I-440 and Capitol Boulevard this morning. You can see the congestion that's building just a little bit there. So if you're about to head out and that's part of your morning commute, keep that in mind. We're seeing the usual trouble spots coming in from Wake Forest this morning on US 1 Capitol Boulevard, if you will. Here's what we're looking at. You're looking at a 7-minute delay coming in from Wake Forest this morning. The other trouble spot that we've been monitoring, US 1 coming in from all points south, like Moore County, Lee County, US 1. Now you're looking at a 5-minute delay, so not too badly this morning, but just something to keep in mind as you're about to head out. Listen, tune us in on the radio when you're about to head into the car. 101.5 HD3, you can listen to us all over the triangle, but you have a couple of other options, 99.3 FM in Raleigh and 96.5 FM in Durham.
Ken, thanks. Breaking news, state troopers are looking for a hit-and-run driver after a deadly crash. It happened in Johnson County on US 70 business near Smithfield. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey joins us live from State Highway Patrol headquarters. And Kelsey, we've learned a motorcyclist died in this crash.
Yes, Renee, investigators here at the State Highway Patrol are still searching for that driver this morning. The WRAL breaking news tracker captured this video around 2 o'clock this morning. US 70 business was shut down for about 2 hours as troopers investigated. And that crash happened near Barber Road. It happened right where trucks exit the Amazon facility on US 70. We're working to find out the name of the motorcycle rider who was killed, and we'll be sure to keep you updated on the search for that driver. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Johnston County.
Early voting begins in just 3 days, and both presidential campaigns are making stops in North Carolina this week. The election is 22 days away, and this battleground state is a big focus for candidates. WRAL's Laura Levine is at the State Board of Elections this morning. Laura, election officials are preparing.
Here at the State Board of Elections, election officials are getting ready and preparing those one-stop early voting locations ahead of Thursday when we know early voting begins. This comes as the sprint really is tightening with both Kamala Harris and former President Trump really close in the polls, according to NBC polling. We know the Harris and Trump campaigns are hitting the campaign trail nearly every day at this point. Today, Donald Trump Jr. will be in Johnston County, and J.D. Vance is scheduled to speak at an event Wednesday in Wilmington. Vice President Kamala Harris spoke in Greenville yesterday, outlining what she describes as clear differences between the two campaigns.
Ours is a campaign focused on issues that matter, for example, to working families across America, like bringing down the cost of living, investing in small businesses and entrepreneurs.
And in terms of the voting locations in western North Carolina, election officials say that the storm will not significantly impact the polling sites there. Those in western North Carolina, however, will not have to show a photo ID. Laura Levine, WRAL News.
And Cumberland County election officials will conduct voting machine tests today. The accuracy testing will take place at the County Board of Elections office in Fayetteville, and all machines that are being used in the election across all of North Carolina's 100 counties will undergo testing like this. And we have a voter guide on our website, WRAL.com. It has more information about same-day registration, all of the important dates you need to know, as well as information on how to vote by mail and voter ID. Just search election 2024.
President Biden is promising more than $600 million to restore and upgrade the power grid after Helene and Milton. He visited Florida yesterday to see the damage from Milton, and he toured St. Petersburg Beach, which is left in shambles.
For some individuals, it was cataclysmic. All those folks who not only lost their homes, but more importantly, those folks who lost their lives, lost family members, lost all their personal belongings.
So far, power has been restored to more than 3 million homes and businesses in Florida since Milton hit last week. According to PowerOutages.us, there are still more than 450,000 without power this morning.
Today, artists in Asheville affected by Helene can apply for an emergency grant. The grant is being launched by Arts AVL. Those eligible may be able to receive a $500 stipend. The organization says 80% of the area known as the River Arts District was destroyed. The community included 26 warehouses and 300 artists. It is the #1 arts district in our state and a major part of Western North Carolina's economy.
The loss is devastating. There are many areas along the Blue Ridge that have beautiful scenery, but our creative community is one of the things that make the Asheville area stand out from the rest. Our artists and arts organizations are a major economic driver and revitalizer.
Applications for the grant will be on the Arts AVL's website.
Today, the Raleigh Police Department will honor the life of an officer killed in the Hedingham mass shooting. Officer Gabriel Torres will be honored during a wreath-laying ceremony. Torres was one of 5 people killed in the Hedingham mass shooting back in October 2022. He was leaving for work when he was shot and killed in his neighborhood. Today's ceremony begins at noon at the Law Enforcement Training Center. The Fayetteville Police Department says it's investigating what it's calling a shooting at Cross Creek Mall. It's not clear what time this happened yesterday, but the police department says the shooting doesn't appear to be random. There's no information on any victims or suspects at this time.
Tonight, the candidates for North Carolina's Superintendent of Public Instruction will face off in a debate. Democrat Mo Green and Republican Michelle Morrow will debate tonight at Pinecrest High School in Southern Pines. The Public School Forum of North Carolina will be hosting the event.
On your side is monitoring this morning's business headlines. Boeing is cutting thousands of jobs and delaying the launch of a new airplane amid strikes. And the Fed may have hit its inflation target. Maribel Aber will be joining us in our next hour. All right, Natalie, where are we going with after this?
We will go here. The family of a UNC student killed in a crash is working to keep his legacy alive. Hear what they're saying about spreading messages of hope across the community.
Plus, the price tag on Halloween costumes can be scarier than the costume. Just ahead, the ways you can save money on a costume this season.
And well offshore now, a 50% chance of tropical development heading toward the Caribbean. Coming up in my full forecast, I'll explain why I think that potential storm is going to stay well south of here.
Welcome back on your Monday morning as we take a live look over a beautiful sunny North Hills. The sun just coming up. It is going to be a beautiful day. It already is a beautiful day. Meteorologist Chris Michaels in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Feels nice out there.
Yeah, really sitting in the comfort zone so far this morning. Some of the cooler spots, areas like Henderson at 57, but Roxborough, you just came up to 61 degrees. Raleigh, we're at 62. Goldsboro, one of the warmer spots, currently at 63. We can also say that about Fayetteville now at 64. Irwin, 59. Smithfield, good morning. You're at 61 degrees. Heading around town today, you're going to feel a difference from north to south if your travels take you there. You're looking at Durham 71, Raleigh 73, but Fayetteville 79 as our cold front moves from west to east. And as it does so, you're going to feel the breeze as well. That's going to be around 10 to 15 miles per hour sustained, with gusts maybe 20 to 25 miles per hour. Meanwhile, offshore, well offshore, we've got this new potential tropical system. It's got a 50% chance of developing, but notice how far east it is of the Caribbean, and this is where it would go over the next 7 days. I'm not expecting it to get close to us because of what's going on here at home. You see high pressure over the eastern U.S. Clockwise wind would take any possible system that forms and likely keep it well south of here, at least into the weekend. But closer to home, that area of high pressure means a few other things. It's going to keep our rain chances low because the air sinks with it. So when that happens, you get a drying effect. And that same clockwise motion is what's going to drag down some of that cooler Canadian air throughout the rest of the week, just in time for the first day of the North Carolina State Fair. That's Thursday, by the way. High temperature of 62 Thursday, so it's definitely going to feel more like mid to late November out there. We're going to have to pack the layers, especially if you're going in the evenings later in the week. And, well, this is why. Look at overnight into Friday morning. Areas like Roxborough 34. I could stand to see some patches of frost in Roxborough, in South Hill. And we'll even be in the upper 30s to near 40 in Durham and Raleigh and Rocky Mount, even Southern Pines. So you may not need the thick jacket this morning, but later in the week, you're definitely going to need it as we get that taste of November-like air settling in. Tomorrow, we're in the mid-60s, partly cloudy, still a little on the breezy side. Wednesday, I'm forecasting a high of 60. That would make it the coldest day since March the 28th, and that's more your average for Thanksgiving, believe it or not. Temperatures 35 to 40 Thursday and Friday mornings, but then look out for the weekend. That is gorgeous. 40s in the mornings and 70s by the afternoon. Ken?
All right, Chris, here's something that you need to look out for, particularly if you're heading into the Bull City this morning. This crash right here on I-885 in the northbound lane near TW Alexander Drive. You can see the backup that it's causing right there in those northbound lanes right there, TW Alexander Drive. You're looking at a 6-minute delay. Things are getting a little worse there. About a half hour ago, it was about a 4-minute delay. So just remember to keep that in mind if you're heading into the Bull City this morning. Isolating the Beltline this morning, that congestion that was building on the northern loop has really dissipated just a little bit. As we can see from this I-440 and Capitol Boulevard camera, traffic is flowing along nicely at a steady clip. So that's good news if the Beltline is part of your morning commute. Look at this. US 1, the red is gone from the map on US 1, which is many of you call Capitol Boulevard. So that is really good news this morning. 1 minute delay, that's unheard of this time of the morning, but I know you'll take it. No, elsewhere, very little to no delays on many of our major routes coming into the capital city. Listen, you're heading out this morning. You can listen to us on the radio, 101.5 HD3, anywhere in the Triangle, also 99.3 FM in Raleigh and 96.5 FM in Durham.
Thanks, Ken. Former President Donald Trump wants to put more agents on the U.S.-Mexico border. Trump was in Arizona last night for a rally. He unveiled a plan to hire 10,000 new agents to patrol the border. He also said that he would get Congress to approve a raise and retention bonus for agents.
We're going to retain them, and they deserve it. They've been treated unbelievably badly, and the fact that they continue. And you don't hear they're going out on strike. They're going to this, they don't do that.
The Harris campaign was quick to denounce the plan, saying Trump has a track record of broken promises and failed leadership on border security.
Today, opening statements are set to begin in the trial of the man accused of killing the founder of Cash App. Nima Momeni faces a murder charge. He's accused of stabbing Bob Lee to death in San Francisco in April. Court documents allege Lee and Momeni got into an argument over Momeni's sister. He could spend life in prison if convicted.
Taiwan is condemning the latest round of Chinese military drills near the island as unreasonable provocation. The Chinese military is conducting joint Army, Navy, and Air Force drills in the water surrounding Taiwan. Taiwan says it detected 25 Chinese aircraft and 11 warships near the island this morning. China says the drills are a stern warning to separatist acts on Taiwan.
Raleigh police are investigating after 2 adults and a juvenile were shot on Capitol Boulevard. This happened Saturday night. All 3 victims have non-life-threatening injuries. 2 businesses and 2 cars were damaged by gunfire in the Emporium Plaza. No arrests have been made at this time.
The family of a UNC student who lost his life just over a year ago is spreading hope through a foundation in his name. Elijah Hawkins Maynard died in a crash on Page Road in Durham last October 5th. His family created the EJHM Foundation in his honor. They are keeping his legacy alive by collecting food and clothing for people who need it and working to mentor young people in the community.
When we are serving in the community, we always ask our community, what is it that you need? What is it that you want? So when we continue to be a blessing to the community.
And the family was recently able to give its inaugural EJHM Foundation scholarships to 8 young people in the community.
Boeing is cutting about 17,000 jobs as the strike at the jet maker drags on. The job cuts amount to around 10% of Boeing's workforce. Boeing also says it will delay the launch of its new 777X plane until 2026 due to developmental issues. The strike by more than 30,000 machinists is now in its 5th week. A recent estimate from S&P Global Ratings says Boeing is losing more than $1 billion a month from the strike.
Today is Indigenous Peoples Day, also known as Columbus Day, and that means some businesses will be closed today. Most major banks will be closed, including Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and Citibank. Branches of Chase will be open, and the U.S. Postal Service will also be closed, so no mail or packages will be delivered. But UPS and FedEx both have normal hours today. The DMV, libraries, and courts are closed, but most retail stores like grocery stores, Target, and Walmart, they will be open.
Halloween costumes can be spooky, but their price tags may be scarier. Sue Guzman takes a look at some ways to save money to make the season more enjoyable.
While inflation has been cooling, many Americans, still mindful of their finances, are looking to treat themselves to some cheaper Halloween fun this season. And it all starts with finding the perfect outfit.
A great tip to save money on a costume is to go thrift shopping.
According to data from Goodwill's 2024 Halloween survey, 57% of those who will celebrate this year are planning on using secondhand items to make do-it-yourself costumes.
You can take any amount of clothing that you have and be a zombie by ripping it up.
Scarecrows are another easy option, especially if you're the parent of young kids who are in between sizes.
Kids, they grow out of clothes so quickly. So what you want to do is take those clothes that are a little shrunk, a little worn, knees blown out, get a little bit of straw, stick it in their hat, baste it in with a couple of hand stitches.
And as the countdown to Halloween ticks louder, Coco Mayer, costume studio supervisor at The Ohio State University, says you can find plenty of tutorials online to help get your creativity going.
Don't wait till the 3 days before Halloween. You want to give yourself time. Nothing's worse than a rushed costume.
Meanwhile, for folks who want to save pennies, finding the perfect pumpkins.
Right now, we feel like 2024 is going to be an above average year for both yield and quality.
Agricultural experts say the prices may depend on where you buy them from, but say costs this year could be similar to seasons past.
The Carolina Panthers are still looking for their second win of the season. They played the division-leading Atlanta Falcons tight in the first half of their game yesterday at Bank of America Stadium. But the Falcons pulled away in the second half for a 38-20 win. The Panthers are now 1-5 on the season. They hit the road again next week to play rookie sensation Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders.
A lot of us remember the famous superhero line, "Look up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman." In one North Carolina county, you may look up and see a drone.
What do you think is the main utility of what you're doing? How is it helping the officers?
Definitely increases safety, I think, so that way they aren't going into seeing blind. They know what's going on, or they have a better idea about what's going on.
Tonight at 6, WRAL investigates the latest high-tech crime-fighting tool. How police say the eye in the sky not only gets them to scenes quicker, but makes it safer for police. WRAL investigates new crime-fighting tools to keep you safe. Tonight at 6.
And coming up for us now at 8, troopers are looking for someone who crashed into a motorcycle and left the scene. What we know about the early morning crash that killed that motorcyclist in Johnston County.
Plus, early voting is just 3 days away, and both presidential campaigns are making a final push to win this battleground state. The campaign stops happening this week from both campaigns.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning. Happy Monday. Time now is 8:26. I'm Michelle McConaughey. Meteorologist Chris Michaels with a beautiful look over Wilson. It's a nice start to our Monday.
It is a nice breezy start as well. The whirligig's getting a workout this morning. Maybe you guys are planning on doing the same as well. Your hour-by-hour exercise forecast looks pretty good. Temperature's fairly steady. We rise into the low to mid 70s, so that won't break too much of a sweat. If you're going for an evening jog, temperatures by 6 p.m. even still about 65 to 70 degrees. That cooler than average air continues to move into North Carolina. Coming up over on Fox 50, I'm going to show you when it feels more like mid to late November. Ken?
All right, because happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center really quickly. Checking this crash there in Durham. It's probably in the clearing phase, but it's still causing some lingering delays there in those northern lanes heading into the Bull City. You're probably just looking at a 4-minute delay, which isn't too bad right now this time of the morning. So it's something to keep in mind. In terms of coming into the capital city, we're just looking at just 3 minutes right there on US 1 coming in from Capitol Boulevard from Wake Forest this morning, so which is good news. Listen, you're about to head out this morning. Always listen to us on 101.5 HD3 anywhere in the Triangle.
Thanks, Ken. A motorcyclist was killed in a hit-and-run crash along US 70 Business in Johnston County. It happened near Smithfield, near Barber Road around 2 this morning. State troopers are looking for the driver who left that scene. And tonight, the candidates for North Carolina Superintendent of Public Instruction will face off in a debate. Democrat Mo Green and Republican Michelle Morrow will debate at Pinecrest High School in Southern Pines. The Public School Forum of North Carolina is hosting that event. Next on Fox 50, what's new this year at the State Fair. And up next on Today, the Giants game day tradition of rolling out the American flag.
Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Now on Fox 50, troopers searching for a driver they say hit and killed a motorcyclist, then drove away. What we know about the Johnston County crash where troopers were investigating for hours this morning.
And this morning, a cold front sitting right on top of the area. Some of the colder air lagging behind it. I'll show you when that arrives, when we see temperatures dipping into the 30s.
And fall is in the air, which means the North Carolina State Fair is almost here. The new food and ride options that you'll want to be on the lookout for this year. That's right. Dig out your stretchy pants, too, because you're going to need those when you go to the State Fair. Am I right? Good morning, everyone. It is 8:30. We thank you for joining us on this Monday. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. King crab on a stick. I think that's what I'm looking most forward to.
Okay,
I'm
anything
a seafood
on
lover,
a stick.
so anything on a stick at the State Fair, right? Meteorologist Chris Michaels in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. What are you looking forward to, Chris?
Oh, deep fried Oreos. It's just every year. Got to get it. So good. Right now, looking forward to stepping outside, 62 in Raleigh, and also looking forward to a taste of some of that colder air. Chicago at 46, Minneapolis at 36, and it's that kind of air that's gradually going to make it into our area here as we go throughout the week. Live look at RDU, and you can't beat a sky like that. We've had just a beautiful sky, beautiful weather over the past few days, and that's something that extends into today. Your morning planner, mid-60s by 9 o'clock, by 11 o'clock near 70, by 1 p.m. we're at about 72, and that's about where we're going to peak as we go throughout the day today because of that cold front that I just showed you moments ago. That northwest breeze is going to keep temperatures from really rising too much further. Breezy at times, high temperature in the triangle of about 73 degrees. Now, cooler to the north. Areas like Roxborough, you're probably going to stay in the upper 60s today, whereas Fayetteville, you may be in the upper 70s. The triangle just kind of playing in the middle. There's hardly any moisture with this cold front, so once again, rain chances are slim to none. But behind that, some of the coldest air of the season arriving. I'll show you when that happens and when it'll feel more like Thanksgiving out there coming up.
It's happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. We're going to continue to stay in Durham. We're trying to get some more information for you about this crash. It's probably in the clearing phase, but you can still see the slowdown that it's causing right there in those northbound lanes of I-885 this morning. You're looking at a 3-minute delay. Just about 15 minutes ago, that was up to about a 5-minute delay. So things are getting better and traffic is moving nicely into the Bull City this morning. We want to isolate the Beltline and show you exactly what's going on. Really, the only major problems we're seeing is that a little bit of a slowdown there at Wade Avenue, but nothing really to write home about. The Beltline free and clear this morning. A live look at I-40 and Rock Quarry Road. Traffic is moving along nicely at a steady clip in both directions, which is unheard of this time of the morning. But then again, Wake County schools are out today, so that's good news. And listen, this is a disabled vehicle down there in Garner. Nothing really to worry about this morning. You're heading out this morning. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3 or 99.3 FM in Raleigh and 96.5 FM in Durham.
Thanks, Ken. Breaking news. The search is on for a driver who officials say hit and killed a motorcyclist this morning. The crash happened just after 2 this morning in Johnston County on US 70 Business. That is near Smithfield. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey explained troopers are still looking for that driver.
Right now, investigators here at the State Highway Patrol are still searching for that driver. The WRAL breaking news tracker captured this video around 2 o'clock this morning. US 70 was shut down for about 2 hours as troopers investigated. The crash happened near Barber Road. It happened right where trucks exit the Amazon facility on US 70. We're working to find out the name of the motorcycle rider who was killed. We'll also keep you updated on the search for that driver. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Johnston County.
Both presidential campaigns will be making stops in North Carolina in the coming days. Election Day is just a little over 3 weeks away. Early voting in our state starts Thursday. WRAL's Laura Levine tells us elections officials are preparing for when the state is in the national spotlight.
Here at the State Board of Elections, election officials are preparing the one-stop early voting locations just ahead of when early voting begins on Thursday. We know this comes as the race is neck and neck between the two candidates, according to recent NBC polling. The Harris and Trump campaigns are hitting the campaign trail nearly every day. Today, Donald Trump Jr. will be in Johnston County, and J.D. Vance is scheduled to speak at an event Wednesday in Wilmington. Vice President Kamala Harris spoke in Greenville yesterday, outlining what she describes as clear differences between the two campaigns.
Ours is a campaign focused on issues that matter, for example, to working families across America, like bringing down the cost of living, investing in small businesses and entrepreneurs.
Meanwhile, election officials here say Hurricane Helene will not significantly impact voting. Affected counties will have just 5 fewer polling locations than originally planned. And wrapping out the busy week of campaign stops, we know Tim Walz will be in Durham on Thursday. Laura Levine, WRAL News in Raleigh.
This morning, more than 450,000 homes and businesses are still without power in Florida days after Milton hit the area. That's according to PowerOutages.us. Another problem for that state is the lack of fuel. Gas Buddy says that as of yesterday afternoon, a third of the state's gas stations have no fuel at all. In the Tampa-St. Pete area, more than 3/4 are out of gas. The Bradenton Police Department posted this video yesterday of people lined up outside of a Wawa waiting to fuel up. Fuel suppliers are having a hard time getting gas to gas stations because of roads that are blocked by fallen trees.
President Joe Biden visited Florida to survey damage from Hurricane Milton. The president took an aerial tour yesterday of affected areas while on the way to St. Petersburg. He even flew over Tropicana Field, where the roof was torn off during the storm.
Fact is that when you lose your wedding ring and the old photos, your children, family keepsakes, things that can't be replaced. But sometimes, in my own experience, that's the part that hurts the most.
The president also received a briefing from federal, state, and local officials. He also announced more than $600 million for new projects to support communities hit by Milton and Helene.
And students in Buncombe County, they are still out of school nearly 3 weeks after Helene hit that area. Many families relocated to the Triangle as recovery efforts in their hometowns are underway. Some of them met up yesterday in Chapel Hill for lunch. They were able to reunite with friends and also start processing the trauma related to the storm.
And I know as an adult, I'm having trouble processing the trauma from this natural disaster. Can you imagine what a kid has to go through? How they're trying to pick up the pieces and figure things out?
I'm just trying to take it day by day. I still have college applications that are due in the next 2 weeks, so I'm just giving myself grace with that and doing what I can.
And the event was also attended by mental health professionals and some therapy dogs to offer the community some support. And processing emotions after natural disasters can be really difficult, especially for children. We have some resources on our website. Just search Mental Health Helene on WRAL.com.
Authorities in Tennessee are working to learn why a person opened fire near a college campus, killing one person and hurting 9 others. Police in Nashville say 2 groups of people began exchanging gunfire during Tennessee State University's homecoming celebrations. 24-year-old Vonquay Johnson was killed in the shooting. The other victims, including 3 juveniles, had non-life-threatening injuries. Police say 2 of the people hurt in the shooting are suspects. They are looking to identify more shooters. Federal authorities are investigating a man they say had 2 guns outside a rally for former President Trump in California. Authorities say 49-year-old Vem Miller was found with a loaded handgun, a shotgun, and a high-capacity magazine. They found the guns after stopping his SUV about a quarter mile from the rally as he was trying to enter. He was arrested on misdemeanor charges. A federal law enforcement official says there is no indication that this was an attempt on Trump's life.
Tonight, you have the chance to talk to Durham Public Schools' new superintendent about your experience with the district. Anthony Lewis is hosting a series of meetings to hear directly from families, students, staff, and also community members. And tonight's meeting will be at 6 o'clock at Southern School of Energy and Sustainability. Another meeting will be held tomorrow at Riverside High School.
SpaceX's latest launch was historic for a different reason. Its landing. So this video not being played in reverse. The world's largest rocket came back to Earth after sending a ship into space and then landed right back on the pad in Brownsville, Texas. Giant metal arms on the launch pad caught it. It's part of a partnership with NASA that aims to reliably reuse equipment to send crewed missions to the moon and eventually Mars.
Well, it's hard to believe, but we are just 3 days away from the start of the North Carolina Fair. Preparations are underway ahead of opening day. And this year, there are 2 new rides for you to check out. They are the State Fair Slide, which is 210 feet long. And the other new addition is the Candy Adventure Funhouse. There will also be 72 new food options, including bacon wrapped in cheese on a stick and a peach cobbler pizza cone.
Vendors are always reinventing the good eats. Just ahead, a majority of teens are dealing with a lot of pressure. We'll take a look at a new study and the solution researchers found to help alleviate that pressure.
And country music star Brantley Gilbert had to stop his concert unexpectedly because his wife was giving birth on his tour bus. What he did after his son's birth, that may surprise you.
And this is a live look at Franklinton this morning. Big changes are on the way for the rest of the week. Chris Michaels will walk us through when we can expect the breeziest winds and the coldest air of the season when we return. Welcome back, 8:44, as we take a look at the Carolina blue skies over Chapel Hill. Just lots of sunshine and not a cloud in the sky there, and temperatures feeling very nice if you like it on the warmer side of fall, but then soon our temperatures will plummet if you like it cold. So there's a lot of things for everyone this week, Chris.
Yeah, you remember what was it, the Christmas movie with the heat miser and the snow miser? We're making everybody happy this time around, especially with the chill that's coming in after today. Live look at the fairgrounds where things are going to get busy here in about 3 days. Right now it's 62, feels nice and pleasant out there. The dew point's going to drop, drier air, colder air moves in eventually. eventually. Today, our temperatures are pretty slow to climb, about a degree or two per hour. Our highs today mostly in the 70s, although it's all about location. Rocky Mount 74, Fayetteville 79, and then you go up towards South Hill and Roxborough and you hardly get out of the 60s. It's all because of that cold front that's moving through pretty much as we speak. And you can feel it, right? As you start to step outside, the wind is maybe a little bit higher than it's been over the past few days. You see your wind gusts through at least midday, 20 to 25 miles per hour. Wind gusts will back off a little bit as we head into the evening and the air stops mixing around a little bit. That's going to allow temperatures to drop pretty quickly overnight. Temperatures for the most part tomorrow morning, 42 to 47. So stepping out this morning, you might need a light zip up or something like that. You'll probably need something thicker as you head into tomorrow morning. Clear sky overhead, though, and that gives us a great view of this comet. Comet A3 is really the short name for it, and Dana Saul's got a great shot in Wayne County. If you look to the western sky, about 30 to 60 minutes after sunset, you should be able to see it with the naked eye if you're in a dark spot. If you're in a downtown area, probably not going to see it. It'll go higher in the sky between now and October the 24th. More details on WRAL.com. Bundle up, though, as you're going ahead to check that out. This is Thursday morning. Boone 26, Raleigh at 40, Fayetteville at 42. Then you head toward Friday morning, and it doesn't change all that much. The mountains near or below freezing. Here we see temperatures upper 30s and lower 40s. The mountains falling below freezing this time of year, pretty common. That's on average the first fall freeze. In our area, it typically happens late October, early November, and I'm not expecting us to drop below 32 this week, but we'll get pretty chilly out there. Tomorrow, 64 is the high temperature. Wednesday, our forecast high is 60 degrees. That would make the coolest daytime temperature since March the 28th. And of course, the North Carolina State Fair, that beginning Thursday, high temperature of about 62. And as we head into the weekend, of course, always looking forward to that sunshine and 70s.
Chris, thanks. Israel is looking into how a Hezbollah drone entered the country without triggering an alert. The attack killed 4 soldiers and injured more than 60 other people on Sunday. The strike hit an army base about 40 miles from the Lebanese border. Israeli officials say it was one of the bloodiest attacks on Israel since the war began last October. This comes as Israeli bombardments in Gaza killed over 40 people yesterday, including 13 children. The head of emergency services in Gaza says that in the past 10 days, Israel's strikes on the Jabalia refugee camp has killed at least 300 people.
A relative of the Afghan citizen accused in an election day terror plot has been arrested in France. French officials say a 22-year-old man was charged with plotting to conduct attacks on a French soccer match or shopping center. The man was arrested the day after 27-year-old Nasser Ahmad Tawedi was arrested in Oklahoma. Authorities say that he intended to attack a large gathering and expected to die as a martyr on November. Officials say the men were in November, and officials say the men were planning the attacks in the name of ISIS. However, it is not known if they would have been coordinated.
A parachute show missed the mark during a Fleet Week performance. Video shows a Navy parachutist landing in a crowd of spectators. This happened yesterday after the man missed his mark during a show in San Francisco. For Fleet Week, the parachutist was carrying a banner and ended up crashing into a mother and teenager on the ground. Everyone is expected to be okay.
People in Cumberland, Hoke, and Moore counties will now have easier access to court records. The e-court system will go online today. The online system will slowly come to all North Carolina counties, but you can see the counties shaded in yellow here. They have already moved to the e-court system, and that does include Wake County. The counties shaded in green, they will join the system today. So far this year, the system has saved at least 5 million pieces of paper. And a Johnston County intersection will be closed this week as crews work to install a new roundabout. The four-legged intersection of Cornwallis, North Shiloh, and Josephine Road closed this morning at 4 a.m. and will reopen this Friday at 5 p.m. Drivers should follow detour signs and expect a longer commute. And DOT expects the project to be complete by the end of the year.
A majority of teens feel like they are under negative pressure. That's according to a new study. Researchers surveyed more than 1,500 teenagers and found 81% said they felt negative pressure in at least one area of their lives. 56% are in distress over creating a game plan for their future, like choosing a college or a career. Medical experts warn social media use can increase the risk of depression and anxiety. Some teens say it releases pressure for them. A possible solution to all the pressure, getting enough sleep and exercise.
Those who engaged in healthy practices more were feeling less pressured, and they also had lower rates of burnout.
In addition to encouraging healthier lifestyles, analysts say parents should help their kids create more flexible schedules and not project their fears onto them. The Los Angeles Dodgers are 3 wins away from getting to the World Series. They put on a dominating performance in Game 1 of the National League Championship Series last night. They beat the New York Mets 9-0. Game 2 is this afternoon at 4. The New York Yankees and Cleveland Guardians will get the American League Series started tonight at 7.
And Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow had a Sunday night football game to remember. He took off for a 47-yard touchdown run early in the game against the New York Giants. That is more than twice as long as the previous longest run of his career. It was the spark for the Bengals as they went on to win that game 17-7. A tough night for New York sports, for sure. And week 6 of the NFL season wraps up tonight with an AFC East matchup. The Buffalo Bills will be at MetLife Stadium to take on the New York Jets. Kickoff is at 8:15 tonight over on ESPN.
A popular horror comedy from 2019 is getting a sequel. David Daniel has that and more in the Hollywood Minute.
Zoe Saldana is crediting Steven Spielberg with restoring her faith in major Hollywood movies. The actress told the BFI London Film Festival over the weekend her first big-budget role, 2003's Pirates of the Caribbean: The Curse of the Black Pearl, was not a good experience. Luckily, the next year brought Spielberg's The Terminal, which Saldana said made her feel so good and so safe and restored my faith that big can also be great.
A game. What game? Hide and seek? Are we really going to play that?
Ready for more Ready or Not? Samara Weaving and the filmmaking collective Radio Silence are reuniting for a sequel to the 2019 horror comedy about a bride who has to survive a deadly game with her new in-laws. The original cost just $6 million to make and grossed more than 4 times that domestically. That's the kind of game movie studios love. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Oh, yeah, the first one was good. Well, country star Brantley Gilbert had to pause his concert because his wife went into labor. He was just getting started on Friday night in Tupelo, Mississippi, when he was pulled away for an emergency backstage. His wife, Amber, was on the tour bus giving birth to their 3rd child. The couple posted a photo to Instagram featuring their newborn son. And after sharing the news with family, he went back on stage to finish the concert. He said, "Hey, everybody, we have a baby." And the whole crowd erupted in cheer. But he went to finish the concert. How crazy is that?
Well, and maybe his wife is like, you
need to go.
I got this.
Yes.
You go back on stage, and we'll talk later. It's okay. She already took care of her part. But
I mean,
wow,
yeah.
That was just a beautiful photo.
Yes,
with
I
the
know.
little one on your chest.
I mean, it's her 3rd kid, so she's like, I got this. I'm good.
Exactly. You go do your thing, and we can be a family in a little bit.
Yes. All right, well, coming up for us, we'll have more news, weather, and traffic. But before we go to break, here are your winning lottery numbers. Good luck.